Let's get started. This is 8th grade math, Unit 3, Lesson 2. Today you are going to learn more about graphs of proportional relationships. And you will see that you can have the same proportional relationship graphed with a different scale. Let's learn about scale today. Take a look at the first graph. What is the scale? Well, the y-axis goes from 0 to 28. The scale of the y-axis is from 0 to 28. And for the x-axis, it's 0 to 22. That's the scale. If we were to draw another graph and zoom in, it would be the same proportional relationship, but on a different scale. Let's say we zoomed in from 0 to 8. 0 to 8, x equals 0 to 8. And our y scale also went up to 8. Then it would look something like this. I've just changed the scale. Okay, I'll delete that and read the problem. Problem 1. Question 1. Here is a graph that could represent a variety of different situations. And it asks you to write an equation for the graph. Remember that proportional relationships have the equation y equals k times x, where k is some constant of proportionality. That is a constant. And in our linear relationships, which is another word for a proportional relationship, k equals the slope. So anyway, let me finish writing this. K is a constant, and k equals the slope of the line. As always, I'm having a difficult time with my pen tablet. I don't think anyone can read that. Let me write that slope again. I hope you know how to turn up the playback settings when you watch a video. It's very difficult and slow for me to write with a pen tablet. Go down to the settings wheel on this video. Click the settings wheel and then click playback speed. Change the playback speed to maybe 1.5, but make sure you still have your pen and paper and you can keep up taking notes. Pause the video when you need more time for notes. Anyway, write an equation for the line. Okay, we need to find the slope of this line. Well, to find the slope, we can use 2 points. The first point I notice is x equals 0, y equals 0. So that's one point we can easily use. Here's another point that's easy to see because it falls onto the grid. So at that point, x equals 8 and y equals 14. Now, just in case you missed it the first 1,000 times I said it, I want to remind you, never forget, when you're looking at coordinates, it's always the x value followed by the y value. That's what the parentheses mean. It's a coordinate point, x and y. Okay, and in case you missed it before, don't forget you can find the slope of a line. The slope between any 2 points equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. You can find the slope between any 2 points using this formula. Well, now, since this line crosses through 0, 0, I don't even need to use this formula. I can just look at this one point right here. Y equals 14. So the rise from 0 to the point is equal to 14 units. And the run from 0 to this point is equal to 8 units because x equals 8. The slope of this line, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Just a second. I meant to do this. There we go. The slope of the line equals 14 units up divided by 8 units over. And let's reduce the fraction. If you divide each of those sides by 2, you get 7 over 4. 7/4. So now we can fill our slope. Remember, the slope is k, our constant in our proportional relationship. So k goes right here. And you can write an equation for this line. It is y equals 7/4, we calculated that, times x. Now, what does this equation tell you? And how could you even use that? Well, for any given value of x, you can easily calculate the y, or vice versa. Let's try. Okay, so when x equals 0, put in 0 here. Then y equals 0, because 0 times 7/4 equals 0. How about when x equals 10? Then y equals, and do the math, 10, x equals 10, 10 times 7/4. Okay, let me write it down for you. 7/4 times, that's not an x, that's a multiplication, so I'm going to use an asterisk instead of an x. When you start getting into algebra, multiplication signs are confusing. Don't use x's anymore. Anyhow, 7/4 times 10. Do this on your piece of paper as well. That equals 70 over 4. And if you do the math, just a second, let me move this out of the way. 70 over 4, you can reduce that to 35 over 2, and you can reduce that even more to, let me think, is it 17.5? I'm not that good at math. Let me double check that. 35 divided by 2. I got it right, 17.5. Okay, so let's see that on the graph. When x equals 10, right here, when x equals 10, y equals, ding, 17.5. Yes, I think that's very close to 17.5. Let's do another point. How about when x equals 14? Now, use this equation to find out what is the value of y when x equals 14. So put it into the equation. 7/4 times 14 equals, let's do the math, 7 times 14 divided by 4 equals 24.5. Do the math yourself on your paper so that you're learning as you go, not just copying me. Okay, when x equals 14, here, y equals 24.5. Yes, very good. That's what we do with the equation of our proportional relationship. Now, I can always calculate my value of y for a given value of x and vice versa. Okay, type your answer in here. Please type in the equation for a line that we have now discovered.